All right, welcome to another edition of Getting to Know the Back Sports Page staff. My name is Randy Zellea, founder and owner of Back Sports Page, and I'm happy to have one of our Atlanta boys down on the show today, Marthony Sanders. Marthony, good evening, my friend. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm doing well. Really just catching up on some sleep today. That's pretty much all I've been doing.
Let's give some background to this, okay? Because I think it's fair to share the information. You're a new daddy.
Yeah.
And so you're now understanding the joys of parenthood.
If that's what you want to call it, yeah.
Well, okay. So listen, again, I'm lucky. I have 3 here. Again, like we were just discussing off there, 6, 9, and 11. I didn't have to go through any of the diapers or the lack of sleep or anything like that. Some people say that's like the best time of the baby. Other people say that's just like, it's a tough time. And I don't think of that part of it right now. Yes, it's tough right now, but think about it like 5 years from now, when like that innocent 3, 4, or 5-year-old kid baby comes and looking at you and just starts saying like things to you that are so most unimportant things, but it would be the most important thing to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the way. See, we do more than just sports on this show. We give life advice here. You know what I mean? So let's learn a little bit about you, brother. You're down in Atlanta. Are you born and raised in Atlanta?
No. Actually, I was born. I was born in the state of Arkansas, about an hour outside of Little Rock. Me and my family, we moved to Memphis, Tennessee, probably in my younger days, and pretty much was kind of raised there. And then went to school out in Nashville. Well, Murfreesboro. I'm sorry.
Well, first off, I get to bust your chops now when you're saying your younger days, okay? Because you're how old again?
25.
You're 25. I got 15 years on you, so don't give me the younger days stuff.
As an adolescent. Adolescent.
All right, I'll take that. I will take that. You giving me the in my younger days. I'm like, man, don't give me that. I was born the last week of the 70s, or last 2 weeks of the 70s, so I'm technically a 70s baby. But don't start giving me like that back in my younger days. Okay, when it was rough out there when the first iPhone came out.
Yeah.
So you were from Arkansas, and then what was that like? Being in Arkansas and then having to make a move. Now, I was very lucky for the first 24 years of my life being in the same town. So what was that like for someone like you who had to move at that young age?
Well, believe it or not, I pretty much had the influence on us moving from Arkansas to Tennessee to Memphis. Because originally what happened was my sister, she left because I'm the youngest out of all of my mom and dad's children. So they all were like grown and doing their thing. And she was actually the first one to move out of the state and move to Tennessee and move to Memphis. So I went there and visited a couple of times, and I just told my mom, it's crazy how you telling your mom at like 8 years old, like, oh, I want to stay here. I don't want to be down there no more. Like, and then, I mean, by that time, I mean, my mom and dad, they're pretty up in age, and they, work pretty good and getting ready towards retirement. And I mean, I'm pretty much the last one that they had to, really take care of. So they was like, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea. So we moved there with my sister at about like 8, 9 years old. And we've been there ever since then.
I got to ask the question because Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Got to ask the question. Is that the best barbecue on the planet?
It is. I think it is. It is. But the thing is,
I had you stalling. I had you thinking because you're just like.
I had to think about Kansas City is pretty good. Kansas City barbecue is pretty good too. So it's up there, but it's definitely pretty bum. But the thing is it's more than just actually the barbecue that's good there in the city. Definitely, man, probably the best place to go get some wings too.
Oh, that's my weakness. Like you're gonna find this crazy. You know what wings I actually love up here? Yeah. Again, you're down in Atlanta. I'm up here in Jersey. But my fiance's parents bring over from Costco. They had these seasoned wings from Costco, and we just put them in either on the oven or on the grill. And my God, like the other day, we made them for the kids for lunch, and like we have a whole tray. I finished off like 12, 13 wings. Just like that. I didn't even realize. I'm like, oh my God, I finished 12 of these things already. Oh my God. Like they were that good. Like I like some good wings out there. Obviously, local mom and pop shops usually end up making good wings.
Yeah,
But like if you try to go to like a franchise place, I would say franchise place the best boneless wings is Applebee's.
they are pretty good.
Yeah, I'll take that. All right, so we reeled off topic. The train went really off the rails. So let's talk about sports a little bit. Talk to me about your teams growing up. Who were your teams growing up, and what players and sports influences have on you?
Well, okay, so even still with being like in Tennessee, of course, at that time, the Titans had ended up being in Tennessee, moving from Houston, being in the Titans, but I never liked any of the in-state teams. I mean, it's just never been my thing. The first team I like fell in love with was the Atlanta Falcons, literally just because it really started from playing the Madden games. I mean, I had Nintendo 64 for Christmas, was playing the Madden game, and honestly, it was the name of my first Little League football team that I played for was the Atlanta Falcons. So then seeing them on the video game, I was like, oh, that's the team that I play for. And it just, at that point, I just stayed with the team. I mean, of course, then when 2001, when we drafted Michael Vick, I was like, yep, I'm going to, stay with them. And I mean, it's not always easy. It's still not easy now. But,
definitely not.
Sticking thin, I still stick with them.
Well, that's a hard thing, right, for sports fans is to stick with your teams when they're bad. Like, look at me, I'm a Giants fan. And I think, and you'll learn this over time, I think it's easier when you become a media member. And the reason why I say that is because when you become a media member, your feelings are not involved with it. Like when you write about it, is it hard not to be emotional?
At times, like definitely.
I want to get your perspective as a young writer. If you find like I have a totally different thing. Like I've learned over time to not be emotional about it because if you become emotional about it, and yes, people will share maybe some of the same feelings that you have, but at the same time, it's your job to give a down the middle opinion of it, and it's hard. It's hard when you're emotional. Like I remember someone telling me when I was working with the Nets, Jack Lansky. He works down with the Orlando Magic now, and Jack told me, he said, "Are you a Nets fan?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a diehard Nets fan." He's like, the team would never want to have somebody like you working for them. I said, "Really? Why?" He said, "Because you think with your heart, you don't think with your brain." And that's the hardest thing as a journalist. Like I know I'm sitting there in the media room and I'm talking with guys when I'm covering Giants who are diehard Cowboy fans and they're covering the Giants. I'm like, do you find it hard? They're like, nope, our emotions not in it. Our emotions only in here twice a season. I was like, okay, it's like it is what it is. When did you decide you want to start jumping into sports journalism a little
bit? I mean, pretty much it just started with just watching TV, watching Sports Center, even watching the news. Just really not. I mean, I paid attention to everything, but definitely the sports portion of the show definitely just caught my eye. And then, I mean, also just playing sports too. Growing up, it's just kind of the thing. And then as I got older, I realized like, oh, that's something that I could like actually really get into, and just really just having that big passion for it. I was like, yeah, this is something I really want to do. So that's kind of what really like to just kind of jump started. Like when I would be with my mom and my dad, and they got the newspaper, like they're reading through the whole thing, but they're sifting through, and they already know to hand me the sports section at like 11 because I'm reading through like all the different stories, like regardless of whether it was about the NFL, the NBA, local sports, prep sports. It really didn't even matter. I would just read through all that and check the standings and everything like that and all kind of things. So that's just kind of what jump started me and wanted to get into sports media.
And what has your impressions been so far with Back Sports Page working with me? I know that I'm not the easiest person at times, but I'm around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, definitely, of course, the first thing about it is just you allowing us to have the freedom to, kind of just write whatever that we feel like is, that's on our mind. There's something that's coming there that we think that could be a a good idea to post or anything like that, definitely the different people, different other writers and other guys that we've been working with doing the different shows. I've been on the Sunday morning fantasy show a couple of times. That's been fun doing it with me, with Ryan and Derek a couple of times. And I even got on a show one time with Ryan and Jared, and just kind of even still like after that, adding everybody through like Facebook or Twitter. And then we just been having like conversations in between then. Like me and Jared kind of talk a lot, pretty much kind of sort of on like on Facebook a lot too. So just definitely meeting the new people, and then just definitely for sure you letting us be creative.
Yeah, you know what? I take the attitude of if you guys are going to put your time into it, I might as well let you guys do it the way you want to do it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just feel that's always been the way of handling it. Talk to me about some of your hobbies. What you like to do for fun? Obviously, a lot of that put on hold, being a new daddy.
Yeah, man, I love sneakers. I got like a closet full of like sneakers that I've been like collecting those since I was probably like 16. For myself.
Really?
Yeah. I just always just loved having a pair of just a lot of different pairs of tennis shoes. And I mean, I have probably over, man, that I wear. I probably have over like 40 to 50 pair that I wear. And then there's some that like I haven't worn in a while. There's some I never worn or just worn them once. So I'm a big like shoe geek. And I mean, not even just like tennis shoes, like even dress shoes. Like I go in, I'm like, oh, those are a nice pair of like penny loafers right there. Like, everyone's looking at me like
I'm sitting there saying to myself, man, I can't believe I have somebody on the phone right now talking to me about talking about dress shoes.
Yeah, man, I like doing that. I pretty much just like also just watching different things on YouTube from time to time. It's really just a lot of like comedy shows and different little webisodes and stuff like that. Just to kind of get my mind off of things. When the weather is permissible, I definitely like, just kind of like taking walks around my neighborhood or going to like a little park, anything like that. So I like collection of sneakers, dress shoes, suits. Yeah.
You gotta go to your Facebook page so people can see you go definitely GQ-ish out. You definitely GQ. You definitely GQ-ish out, man. And it's cool. It's cool, and there's nothing wrong with that either, brother. It's like way to do it.
Yeah, that's just been like one of my things, man. Especially after I learned how to, tie a bow tie. At one point I used to know how to, I probably can't do it now, but at one point I used to know how to actually turn a necktie into a bow tie. I probably couldn't do it now. I had probably to YouTube it to find out again, but at one point I was even doing that. I don't know. I wouldn't say like I'm a big like fashion guru, but I mean, I'm into some of that stuff, but I mean, I don't have to have like a name brand style or anything like that. I mean, I can be okay with just getting a pair of jeans from Old Navy or something like that. I'll be fine, but I'll make it work.
I was trying to figure out where exactly you were going with that one, but that was real quick. I always do this with everybody. Real quick, I got to ask about Jordans. Are you a Jordan collector too?
Yes.
Okay, that's a big one for you, right?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one. That's probably the biggest one, definitely.
There's a shoe store here by us from one of the local malls, and they have like all the Jordans on the shelves, like the retro ones and everything. I'm like, how do you have stock in these? I'm like, I asked them, do you have this one in a size 11? And I'm like trying. I'm like, wow, man, this is pretty cool. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, how much are these? They're like, oh, these are $400 a pair. I'm like, yeah, we're good. We're good. We're putting this right back on the shelf there. We're good. All right. Thanks for having me. All right, cool.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, especially now, it's definitely been so different. I've been kind of like straying away from them the last couple of years now. I just been basically just getting runners, definitely just Nike runners. I'm like, oh, those are a pair of free runs right there that's on sale for $70. Yeah, let me get those. But I mean, a couple years ago, definitely was just like into the Jordans heavy. It's just I don't know. It's just kind of weird now because so many people now are trying to get into this like sneaker game. So it's just kind of like most of them are like they're buying a shoe or buying 2-3 pairs of the shoes and then want to sell the other ones for triple, 4 times, 5 times the retail price. And it's just, I mean, it gets crazy. But some people they have the patience and the money to do that, and they like doing it. Me personally, I don't think I ever be that kind of person. I mean, if I'm getting me a pair of shoes, I'm just getting them for me, and I'm gonna wear them. I don't sit up there and just let them just sit up in there. I know that, like I said, I said I had some shoes that I had not might have worn yet, but they're gonna be worn. I'm not gonna sell them. Like, why would I buy them if I was gonna? This is my thought. I'm like, why would I buy it if I'm gonna just sit up and just sell it again? Unless like times just have to where it be like I need to get rid of them and I need like maybe some extra cash. Okay, maybe. But other than that, like if I bought the shoe, I'm wearing them.
Well, that's the right way to have it. I ask everybody who I do these shows with, give me your personal Mount Rushmore sports.
Ooh, as
There
far as
whoever you want, your 4 people, I'll give you mine. Mine does not change at all. I have 3 NBA and 1 NFL on there. Yeah, and if you want, you can give a 5th and give one an honorable mention.
Okay. For my Mount Rushmore, I mean, I don't think there's no way that you can debate that Michael Jordan couldn't be on there. You have to put him on there. Probably go with. I'll probably put Barry Sanders on my Mount Rushmore.
You can, like I said, there's you're not getting any judgment. Again, this is your personal Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I'm gonna put. Yeah, I say Michael Jordan, Barry Sanders, and then I'm gonna go with 2 different sports. I will say Muhammad Ali,
boom,
and Serena Williams.
Okay, Serena. Yeah, I've had a couple people say Serena on here. Jonathan Coachman was with us a couple weeks ago and he said the same thing. Okay, so here's mine. You're gonna, again, 3 NBA, Michael Jordan, just because if you ever need to solidify on how great Michael is, watch The Last Dance.
Yeah, me watching it, I was like, okay, now I told like my older like siblings and family members and everything like that actually grew up watching him play. I was like, now I see why y'all ride this man so hard. Like that, yeah, he's the GOAT. No one, I have no more arguments for it.
I tell this to everybody. The Bradford Smith story is the one that got me. On how in '93, on how the guy scored 37 points, and Mike's like, the guy. Mike said that he said to him, "Good game," and all of a sudden it's like, I'm like, this boy, this is not going to end well for this kid. The next night he scores 39 in the first half, and then he announces that he never really happened in the first place. You just needed a reason to get up to play him. I'm like, man, what a jerk, but that's awesome. Number 2 is Drazen Petrovic. Growing up, we all have a hero. He died in '93. He's the one who opened up the door internationally for all the NBA players. That one of the best 3-point shooters ever to play the game. While playing in Croatia, scored 128 points in a game. He's amazing and taken from us way too soon. So he's number 2. Jason Kidd, number 3 on my list. Working with the Nets for as long as I did, being able to watch him on a nightly basis and see the things that he was able to do was simply amazing. And you sort of like kick yourself by just not putting him in that conversation of one of the greatest of all time. And then my 4th one, I get killed for it because from the outside of it, it looks like it's a bad pick. But Eli Manning is my number 4. Again, I look at it from a different perspective of, yes, he's got 2 Super Bowls and he only has 4 playoff runs in him throughout his career. But the New York media market is one of the toughest markets to play. And being able to play bad or have big mistakes on the field and to brush it off and go back out there the next play and then make something good happen like he was able to do all those years warrants that. And then my honorable mention would be Derek Jeter, just because he's Derek Jeter and he's able to, he was the captain up here. I know you were down south, so I don't know if it translated down south what it was Derek Jeter was, but Derek Jeter was like the king of media. And the one thing he was so good at, I hope this expression comes through the right way, and I hope you understand it. But when it comes to interviewing him, he'll let you on the patio, but he won't let you in the house.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like he'll give you some answers, but he's not going to give you that heartfelt answer. You're going to get a mechanical answer out of him. I remember meeting him. I have pictures of me meeting him and talking with him, and I was like, wow, that was a pretty lackluster answer. And then like, it's there. You're not going to get that emotional, feeling out of him. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's very fair. And so, yeah, with that. So that's that. Now, Marthony, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Yeah.
Plug time, baby. Plug time.
Yeah. So of course, my Twitter is at IM_M Sanders _. The M is capitalized and that first S is capitalized on Twitter. That's really where I just kind of mainly do most of my sports thing is just kind of like on Twitter. I haven't really thought about just Instagram like that really just yet. I mean, I know a lot of people kind of are starting to use it like that, but definitely for sure on Twitter. I mean, definitely Twitter is just where I'm usually plugged in at, man. So definitely at IM_M Sanders _. Definitely follow me on there from time to time. I mean, I tweet more than just sports on there, so of course, but definitely for the most part is where I'm at with most of my sports media stuff.
Cool. I love it. I think it's really you're better on Twitter than I am. I'm one of those people where I get lost. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like, hashtag. Yeah, it's a rough bag for me. All right. So Marthony, I'm glad you had the opportunity to come on. We were able to get this interview with you. I had to go through your agent. I had to go through your taxi, your limo driver. I had to go through your cook. I had to go through the baby. The baby didn't want me to get
man. Yeah, she is very demanding. She's very demanding. I'm surprised I'm glad we was able to get this before the demands start to come back.
Listen, I appreciate it, brother. Keep up the good work, and like I said, I appreciate everything that you do for us, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Hashtag bring the Sonics back to Seattle, please.
Hashtag take the Nets out of Brooklyn and put them in Seattle. Okay. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.